How do you stay positive during a difficult conversation? When you get into a conversation, you want to make sure that you are present, mindful, and positive. Why? Because what's the point of getting into a conversation that you know it's not going to go well? You said to yourself, you know what, he'll become defensive. She will not take it well. When there's a negativity in the conversation, even the speaker or the listener, it affects both the speaker and the listener, and affects your judgment, affects your cognitive ability, affects your ability to be non-prejudicial. And so when you are expressing negativity, you are setting yourself up for failure. And sometimes it's unavoidable, of course. But even in those circumstances, you can always take a few minutes and put yourself in a good state. We find in the Quran that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke with Prophet Musa alayhi salam, and he gave him the mission to go to Egypt and speak with Fir'aun and relay Allah's message and free Bani Israel, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prepped up Musa alayhi salam for that conversation, because it was going to be a very difficult conversation. Musa alayhi salam left Egypt, ran away from Egypt. He committed a crime, a mistake in Egypt. And so there is going to be a very difficult circumstance. So in preparation for this conversation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instructed Musa alayhi salam, as he said in Surah Taha, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, اذهبا إلى فرعون إنه طغى فقولا له قولا لينا لعله يتذكر أو يخشى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Musa alayhi salam, he spoke with Musa alayhi salam and said to him, اذهبا إلى فرعون إنه طغى, both of you go, you and your brother Harun, go to Fir'aun. And when you go to him, tell him gentle words. وَقُولَهُ قَوْلًا لَيِّنًا لَعَلَّ الذَّكْرَ أَوْ يَخْشَى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instructed him, go to him and tell him gentle words. Maybe he will be reminded, maybe he will fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to put Musa alayhi salam in an optimistic state, even in this difficult conversation, because Fir'aun is very obnoxious. Fir'aun is someone who has very difficult to have a conversation with. And the subject is very difficult. So when we are speaking with people, none of us are speaking with Fir'aun, and none of us are prophets of Allah. And so we can always put ourselves in a positive state. We could always think about a positive state about the person that we're speaking with, and also about the particular conversation. We can't control other person's emotion. We can control ours. Sometimes I say, I'm just not feeling the positivity. I just need to get this out. Even in those circumstances, you can force yourself to be positive. There's in the center of your brain, there's a small structure called the thalamus, walnut shape. And it is responsible for taking in the sensory information from the outside world and relaying to other parts of the brain. What's fascinating, according to research, is that your thoughts and your fantasies also get relayed with the same mechanism. So what I'm saying essentially is that even if you force yourself and such a thought, it is relayed the same way by thalamus, and it become your reality. So even a father who is screaming at the daughter, and the daughter can think to herself, you know what, my father is screaming and he is being loud and he's not, it's not a good conversation, but you know what, he cares about me, and I'm going to stay patient. I'm going to keep on trying to explain. That will put her in a whole different state. A business partner are in an argument, and the partner can say to him, you know what, my partner, he's very angry, but you know what, end of the day, he cares about our bottom line. A masjid leader, MSA leader, can get into a heated conversation with a volunteer, but he or she can think to herself, you know what, he or she is volunteering his time for free for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How amazing is that? And that will put you in a whole different state to discuss even difficult of conversations. And so what you want to do in every conversation that you have, even if they're very tough, is two things. Number one, you want to remind yourself and keep on asking yourself, if Fir'aun has some potential for positive, what is something small positive about even this person? And number two is, what is amazing and positive about this conversation, even if very small? When you keep on asking yourself these two questions during the conversation, you put you in a positive and good state so you can have a good conversation. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.